Greetings and salutations, my name is OJ, and welcome back to the part 5 of the DBD-a-thon. Yes, the name will always be bad, and yes, I will continue to mention how bad it is. Why did I pick it? God is the only one that knows, and I'm not even religious. For those who need a refresher, the DBD-a-thon is going to be a long set of videos where I cover every single killer in Dead by Daylight, from Trapper all the way up to the recently released Springtrap. In these videos, I will cover the characters' in-game bio lore thing. I'm not a lore guy, so don't expect too much from me. Their gameplay, my favourite cosmetics and least favourite cosmetics, power, and a special case this time. And for multiple future characters, I'll be discussing my relations to the licenses that they come from. Speaking of, let's talk about the first ever licensed killer added to the game, and one that paved the way and, I would actually argue, made this game what it is today. That being none other than the Shape, also known as Michael Myers. Now, seeing as Michael is the first licensed killer that I will be covering in this series, he's certainly not the last, don't you worry. I'd like to just mention briefly what series he comes from and my personal relations to it, because, you know, gives a bit of context to anyone that might not be familiar with where Michael Myers is from. Though, if you're playing Dead by Daylight and you're into horror, which I would presume you are by playing this game, I feel like you should know who he is, right? Michael Myers is one of the, what I would argue, part of the Mount Rushmore of horror icons. Alongside him is similar characters such as Leatherface, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, etc. He comes from the Halloween films and is very much an icon by all definitions of it. Besides maybe the gay one, I'm not particularly sure how he would fall into such category. But Michael Myers is a tall, scary looking bloke. He probably has supernatural powers, and for those wondering, my relation to this series is very slim. I'm going to repeat this a lot. I'm a bit of a wuss. I'm not very good with horror media, and as I'm sure you can probably tell, all of my media experience comes from video games. I don't watch much TV, I don't watch much films. So, how do I know about Michael Myers? How have I experienced the stuff that he's been a part? Kill counts. Dead meat kill counts. That is how I have experienced and understand a lot of the stuff around most of the licenses in Dead by Daylight. I have never watched a Halloween film. I have never watched a Friday the 13th film. I have never watched a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. But I feel like I relatively understand what these series are about from watching kill counts, because they're actually quite informative. They're not just, hey, here's where this person dies and how they die, right? I love Dev Meat. Big out James A. Janice. Big out? Big up. I meant big up, right. Anyways, with my personal relations to Michael Myers, Halloween, etc. partially discussed, I would like to move on to Michael Myers' in-game lore within Dead by Daylight. Said lore reads as such: some humans are simply bad seeds. Seeds infused with a distilled and pure form of evil. Michael Myers is one of those seeds. He had no issues with causing the pain of others. Instead, it was exactly what he sought. But even life can be tough on those with minds filled with terror. The difference is just how one goes about to solve those problems. For Michael, he had to kill to find some inner peace. As he took his sister's life, the police found a silent boy dressed as a clown at the scene. When one stumbles upon a growing fire, one does not pour gasoline on it. But this was an action taken by officials that had no idea how it would shape this demon in the boy's body. Sending Michael to a mental institution was a feeble attempt to save the child. Unsuccessful therapy and nightly screams just made him even more introverted and deranged. People hoped that Michael Myers would end up a parenthesis, soon to be forgotten and buried, a failure that soon were to rot away. But then, he escaped. Clearly, this lore is talking about his existence within the film prior to his initial killings in the first Halloween film. So, as we can quite easily presume, this is Michael from Halloween 1, before he turned into some weird supernatural cult being. Don't know why they did that. Anyways, Before we move on to the shape Michael Myers' gameplay, I would like to give a special mention to the fact that Michael Myers was the first licensed killer added to this game, and I'm going to give him huge amounts of credits for not only paving the way for more licenses that we have certainly gotten in the future, but I don't want to credit him solely with the success of this game, but let's be honest, Michael Myers did draw a lot of eyes onto this game when it first came out. He was the money maker. He drew everybody in because, oh my god, wow, I can play as Michael Myers in a video game. To my knowledge, that wasn't a thing before. I'm sure there's probably at least some shitty 8-bit, yeah, like some shitty 8-bit game from 1980 something that allows you to play as Michael Myers or whatever, but this is the first time you could play him in a proper sense and be in the role of Michael Myers. So, I have to give him enormous credit for that, and without him, who knows? This game might not even be the game that it is today. But with that said, let's move on to his power and his general gameplay. Said power is called the Evil Within, and unlike the previous couple of powers we've discussed, which by all means are relatively simple, like Bear Trap, Bell that make you invisible, and Chainsaw that one hit down. I mean, admittedly, Billy's Chainsaw used to be even more simple before they added the overdrive mechanic. Oh, and Nurse's teleport through stuff. Myers is a bit more layered, per se. The Evil Within allows him to stalk survivors, building up sort of a gauge of I would call it a gauge? Either way, he has two words. Wow, this is really difficult. There are 3 tiers to his power. Evil Within 1, 2, and 3 respectively. And by stalking survivors, he is able to go up through these tiers. Tier 1 is what he starts off the game as. He is permanently undetectable, meaning you can't hear the normal terror radius heartbeat that would tell you a killer's nearby. His movement speed is pathetically slow. He has next to no lunge, like he can't lunge forward to attack people, and he vaults windows at a normal speed, right? After you stalk survivors enough, he moves up to tier 2, where he becomes a normal killer. He has the normal terror radius, normal terror radius, he has normal move speed, his lunge is normal, and funny enough, he actually vaults windows a little bit quicker, which I didn't actually know that. Why have I never known that? Anyways, now, after you reach Evil Within 2, you stay in it, right? But Evil Within 3 is a bit different, because once you charge it up, all survivors become exposed, meaning they can be downed in a single hit. You don't have to do 2 hits. His radius of his terror radius is increased again. His lunge is even longer again, and he vaults windows even faster again. Now, Evil Within 3, though, as a trade-off for all of those benefits and buffs, only lasts 60 seconds, or longer with specific add-ons. Speaking of add-ons, which I'm going to confess something, over these last couple of videos I haven't really mentioned add-ons all that much, and for anyone wondering why, it's because I don't really use add-ons very often. I don't know why, but I will just use like 2 brown add-ons, and I very rarely use anything above it. Maybe it's because I think they're like, ooh, I'm going to run out of them, but I feel like it's worth mentioning Myers and his add-ons, because without add-ons, Myers actually isn't that great. He's very stunted. He's not that strong. He's like if I were to make a tier list, right, he'd be in like C tier, near the bottom of C tier. He just doesn't do much. For the most part, he is a M1 killer with the ability to kill people instantly or down them instantly in tier 3, right? However, when you move on to his add-ons, which as you can hear I'm trying to find with the scroll wheel, but I can't find them. Where on earth are his add-ons? There they are. Sorry about that. I'll probably cut that out of the video. His add-ons are kind of insane. Specifically, the Tombstone piece, which allows him, during Evil Within 3, to instantly kill a survivor. He doesn't have to down them, doesn't have to put them on hooks 3 times. Nope, he can look at you, go into Evil Within 3, and instantly kill you. That's it. That's insane. I know it takes way longer to get Evil Within 3 with that add-on on, but you can just remove a survivor from the game without any, like, issues. You just get rid of them? What do you mean you can just get rid of them? It gets even worse, right? I know it would take a decade to fill up to tier 3, but you could theoretically combine it with the Tombstone piece. You could combine Tombstone piece, which lets you kill people immediately, with the Tuft of Hair, which is an iridescent add-on, and he has unlimited tier 3, which, to my knowledge, if you were to combine them, would just allow you to kill every single survivor with no issues, right? I don't know, I've never tried that combo, because, again, I don't really use add-ons very often. Though, funny enough, no, there is a iridescent add-on that allows you to kill survivors immediately in tier 3. Just for free. Yeah, Judith's Tombstone. I mean, you're slower in tier 3, but you could just kill them. Yeah, Myers is a completely different killer with his add-ons. Like, I was just, like, kind of slandering him and saying, oh, he's a C-tier killer. Yeah, when you add add-ons to the equation, he's one of the better killers in the game. Because you can just kill them. That's insane. That's nuts. But, again, as I said, I don't really use add-ons that often. As you can see in the clips in the background, I'm still not really using, like, crazy add-on combos or whatever. And that'll probably be the case for all future videos as well. And outside of Myers, I don't think I'll really talk about add-ons very often. Besides, like, Pyramid Head, because his add-ons are obscenely bad. Moving on from his gameplay, let's talk about his teachable perks. The first of which being Dying Light. Cool game, by the way. With a description reading as such. Each time you hook a survivor other than the Obsession, you gain 1 token. For as long as the Obsession is alive, all other survivors suffer from a stackable 2, 2.5, or 3% per token action speed penalty to repairing, healing, and sabotaging, up to a maximum of 22, 27.5, or 33% action speed penalty. That's obviously dependent on perk level. The Obsession is unaffected by this penalty and instead granted a permanent 33% action speed bonus to unhooking and healing other survivors. With a flavor text reading, "This isn't a man." A quote from Dr. Sam Loomis from the Halloween films. This perk sucks. This perk really stinks. Now it sounds good on paper, right? Whoa, every single survivor is 33% slower at basically everything? Well, that's insane. Yeah, you have to hook survivors other than your Obsession. You have to down them too. By the time this perk gets like an actual benefit, right? Most of a survivor might be dead, right? Like a survivor's probably dead. Maybe 2 survivors are dead. And guess what? One of the 4 survivors isn't affected by it. And by the way, you kill the Obsession, like, I don't know, by accident or intentionally, this perk is useless. I believe it deactivates because the Obsession is dead. Like, but it makes you work for a benefit that other perks provide with less effort. Dying Light is a worse Thanatophobia. Like, you would never, there's no reason to run Dying Light. Just run Thanatophobia, because you're getting a similar benefit, which is, I believe, 24% action speed or penalty to all survivors. It doesn't exclude the Obsession. And what do you need to do? Injure survivors. You're going to be doing that. Unless you're playing, like, funny enough, unless you're playing Myers, whose most of his gameplay revolves around insta-downing them, you're going to be injuring survivors, and everyone suffers from it. The Obsession doesn't get, like, some benefit bonus. But yeah, I don't like Dying Light. It's a very bad perk, and there's genuinely no reason to ever run it. I can't think of any. Next up is Play with Your Food, with a description reading as such. Each time you chase your Obsession and let them escape, Play with Your Food gains a token, up to a maximum of 3. Each token grants a stackable 3, 4, or 5% haste bonus per token, right? Up to a maximum of 9, 12, or 15%, depending on the perk level. Performing basic attacks or special attacks that damage survivors consumes a token. Play with Your Food has a cooldown of 10 seconds on token accumulation. So basically you can't just chase and then stop chasing the Obsession 3 times in quick succession to get all the tokens. With flavor text reading as such. You fooled them, haven't you, Michael? But not me. Also from Dr. Sam Loomis. Now, this perk's kind of niche. It sounds pretty good on paper. 15% haste is, quite a bit. But it's just a case of like chasing a survivor, dropping the chase, and then again, you kind of have to work for the benefit when there are perks that exist that kind of do similar things without having to work too hard for the benefit. Like, just off the top of my head, machine learning from the Singularity. Kick a gen. When that gen pops, you get 10% haste and undetectable for 60 seconds. I think it's 60 seconds. That's kind of easier to activate than Play With Your Food. I don't know, Play With Your Food is a perk I've not really ever used. Maybe it has some uses in builds. I've never used it, and I don't feel like I can properly comment on its strength per se. But on paper, from what I'm reading, it doesn't sound that great. It sounds like a kind of middle of the road, maybe like a high C tier, low B tier perk, right? Finally, we have Save the Best for Last, with a description reading as such. Whenever you hit a survivor other than your obsession with a basic attack, Save the Best for Last gains a token, up to a maximum of 6, 7, or 8 tokens, depending on the perk level. Each token grants a stackable minus 4% cooldown reduction on successful basic attacks, up to a maximum of 24, 28, or 32%. Whenever you hit your obsession with a basic or special attack, Save the Best for Last loses 2 tokens. When the obsession is sacrificed or killed, Save the Best for Last freezes its current token count. You can only be obsessed with one survivor at a time, and it has flavor text reading, "Death has come to your little town, Sheriff." Also, for the 3rd time in a row, from Dr. Sam Loomis. Now, this perk used to be pretty insane back in the day, if I remember rightly, because it would give you the cooldown reduction on missed basic attacks as well. I think that was how it worked. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I'm sure someone will eventually do so. But this perk is pretty good. It's not mind-blowing. It sounds really good. All 3 of Maya's perks sound really good on paper, and then you realize, oh wait, I have to work for benefits. I have to put in the effort. Which in a game like Dead by Daylight, weirdly enough, the best perks are usually the ones that do things without your input. Like Scourge Hook Pain Resonance has been one of the best perks ever since it came out. And what do you do with that perk? Oh, you hook a survivor on a Scourge Hook, and the most progress gen loses 20% of its progress. You barely have to actually interact with the game, which I feel like there's probably some commentary there on the state of the game as a result. But speaking still of Save the Best for Last, it is pretty okay. I mean, the cooldown reduction sounds really nice, but it's just a case of not hitting the survivor again. You kind of just leave the obsession to do as they please, which, I don't know, it's never really sat right with me, per se. But it sounds pretty good on paper, but otherwise it's okay. It used to be strong. I remember it used to be really strong. I remember seeing it all the time, but yeah, it's okay. But with that discussed, let's move on to the final part of the video, that being character design as well as skins. Though, as I said earlier, or no, I didn't say that earlier, well, I'll say it now, Maya's section on skins is going to be very short, as I'm sure you can guess why if you've ever played the game. Now, I'm going to say this in basically every single video where we talk about a licensed killer. A lot of my praise for their default designs can be directly attributed to their designs from their respective films, because it's very rare we get an original depiction of a licensed character per se. And example is Michael Myers, right? His design is iconic. It will always be iconic, as simple as it is. It is literally a dude in I don't know clothing. I just realized that now. I was gonna say what his outfit is. It's like a workers overalls, I suppose. Yeah, it's like workers overalls, and he has his little kitchen knife draped in blood. Simple. And of course, I'd be ruining the video if I didn't mention his ever iconic mask. It is damn near soulless, it's creepy, it's uncanny, and it is perfect. It is incredibly simple design, but because of the way he is, the whole stalking thing, teleporting, I know he doesn't actually teleport, but he basically damn well might, you know what I'm trying to say, he might as well be teleporting. He's got that soulless look in his eyes as well. It's just, it's iconic. I can't say, I cannot praise this design any more than anyone before me already has. Simple, but incredibly effective. Now usually, as you've probably seen from my previous videos, I would do a most favourite and least favourite skin. Minor issue. Miles doesn't have any skins besides the one where he's draped in a hospital gown, so that is both my favourite and my least favourite. And what do I actually have to say about the hospital gown skin? It's funny. That's all I've got. I think it's kind of funny, it's neat, and I have nothing else. This section, as I said earlier, was going to be very short, because what am I really meant to say about Michael Myers in a hospital gown? It's not even scary, him being in a hospital gown, because he's got like his feet out, and I just think that's really funny. He just looks weird in a hospital gown. But yeah, with that very, very brief section on his cosmetics, we're going to finish the video now. And what do I actually have to say about Michael in general? Great. Perfect. One of the best things to ever happen to this game. He paved the way for so many more licenses, and he is potentially one of the reasons that Dead by Daylight is still around now. Like, I can't give him enough praise. Unfortunately, he is forever stuck in being in a weird hell of being a pretty bad killer until you add add-ons where he's one of the best killers, right? I kind of wish he was just kind of better base kit wise. I don't know how you would do that, but I'm sure people smarter than me have already made videos doing like in-depth power reconstructions for him. But I like Michael Myers. He's not one of my favourite horror icons. He's probably closer to the bottom of the list. I don't dislike him, right? But I've never had many strong feelings about him. But anyways, with that said, and all of my thoughts out there, I hope you have a good evening, afternoon, morning, etc. And the next video is going to be on The Hag.